of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Today is Monday, November 2nd, 2020. The time being 5 p.m. The meeting of the Greensburg Board of Works is called to order. This time, please silence all electronic devices. To comply with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the city requests that participants in this meeting complete a voluntary anonymous survey that is available on the table in the back of the room. Brendan, please call the roll.
James Kane.
Here.
Rodney King.
Here.
Mine's Heavy.
Here.
Karen Ruff.
Okay, you all should have received a copy of the October 5th, 2020 minutes. I know there were some emails exchanged about corrections and additions to those, but the ones presented, are we okay with those?
Yes.
If so, we take a motion to accept those as presented.
So moved. Second.
Motion's been made by Glenn, seconded by Rodney. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. And then the special meeting, October 12th, 2020, that was the fire contract discussion meeting. Any further changes or amendments? If not, I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Glenn, seconded by Rodney. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, Chief Bridges, Chief Stoermer, you guys want to do your joint presentation again? We've got two separate documents for this, so I don't know if somebody wants to go first, but we are back to talking about the wellness policy, mental health for our first responders, which I think is a great and noble cause for us as we move forward. Good evening.
Good evening. I'll go first. I won't make him stand longer. So,
Just a question. We've got two different agendas here. And the one had, they've got a public hearing on city hall lease.
That's the city council.
Oh, okay. Oh, actually, pardon me. I apologize. Got it.
Okay. Chief Bridges.
okay, hopefully everybody got the latest draft this afternoon. So I guess I will field any questions at this point in time and try to clarify anything that needs to be clarified.
One thing, there are two sections to this, right? One being mandatory, the other being voluntary.
Correct. So the mandatory got moved up to number 2, and that is something that all officers have to participate into, which also kind of follows along, not to confuse, the fit for duty. So every officer is going to have to go through at least the physical fit agility standards listed on number 2B. So that is for every officer, and then the fit for duty program picks up at number 3.
You already do number 2, correct, with your department as part of officer training each year?
No, we never have. This is something that has been trying to be set up for over 10 years and never has been able to be accomplished, and that's what I'm trying to bring now.
That was part of my question on this, is I'm supportive of what you're trying to do. Has this been at least broached with members of the force?
Yes, I've approached both shifts, talked to them about it, and like I said, the questions they had were very little in that, and they understood and they are all for it. So there's actually a couple officers, young officers that have looked into other options on the whole mental health part. So we kind of brought that together and outlined it here. So.
Are you happy with the product that is in front of you?
Yes. After today and that and going through everything, hopefully, like I said, cutting it down, it makes a lot more sense for everybody and that, but no, I'm happy with this final part here.
Okay. You put in a great deal of time and effort, both of you have, and it's greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
Concur? Any other questions for Chief Bridges? If not, we take a motion to accept the change to the wellness policy for the Greensburg Police Department.
Motion made.
Motion's been made by Rodney. Is there a second?
Well, I'm just wondering, I guess, should it be contingent upon the approval of the council? Because we're talking about, there's, in his
policy, it defines clearly a monetary value associated with that. So if that doesn't get approved in the budget by the council, then, I mean, that's the thing, we can approve this, but if the council doesn't approve the money in the budget, it's for
The policy can be established, I think, and it will require the council to act next year for the budget for 2022, is when this will become effective, for a reimbursement. So there's time, and if we have to make some adjustments later, I think the first thing we're doing is establishing a benchmark in terms of standards. We're establishing what we think is the right policy for the city. Council can determine whether they agree or not, but, you know, I don't know, I'll defer to council if he thinks that we have to conditionally. My thought is that we ought to be able to establish a policy, subject to later on council saying appropriating money or not.
Yeah, no, I would agree, particularly since you're not, since you're not asking for an additional appropriation for this coming 2021 year. I think you can certainly pass this policy as written, knowing that that is going to have to be a line item or a discussion in the budget. Obviously, if that doesn't come to fruition, then you're going to have to revisit your policy because it's no longer
Yeah, we have to amend it somehow.
yeah, you'll have to amend it in that way. But I don't think it needs to be I don't think your approval needs to be contingent on that budgetary approval. I think you can approve this policy as written, and I think you could actually also ask that the minutes reflect a discussion on budget approval, and then move forward in that vein.
I mean, I fully support this.
Right.
Don't take that question as me saying, I don't support it. I think this is a good idea. I think we're going the right direction. Absolutely. I just wanted to make sure we at least had that discussion before we.
Absolutely.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, the motion was made by Rodney, seconded by Jamie. The minutes shall reflect that a conversation was had that it is all based on the 2022 budget, but we'll proceed through 2021 as if this would be an option. That way, you guys and gals have time to participate, should you choose so. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thanks, sir. Congratulations, great policy for us. Chief Stoermer, you've got a version of this as well.
That is correct. So I had just updated, Mr. Tebby sent some revisions. This weekend I was able to make this afternoon, so I placed a new copy on each of your desk to reflect that. Very little modifications were made. They were all pretty much grammatical in nature. Along with that, I did specify out what is in the fire skills portion, and as well as added the attachment of the physical standards test itself. We have had this in place as a draft form, as a living document with our Health and Safety Committee, and I am proud to say that one individual who started this, kind of started the ball rolling for us to do something, has lost 90 pounds as of today's date, and two more that tested in level 1s have tested into the level 3s. So we are seeing a positive effect on the, at least the physical fitness and the weight loss portion of that, as well as just strengthening the other things. So while it's not brand new, it was new this year, and it did come with a lot of flack because it's probably been in the 9 months secondary to COVID, it's been the biggest change that the fire department has seen. So I was kind of, somewhat apprehensive of that, but after two individuals on their own accord went from a level 1 to a level 3, we knew that we were doing the right thing and things are working. I will entertain any other questions.
You were speaking in terms of certain modifications had taken place in regards to the paperwork.
That is correct. One individual was actually placed on modified duty for a month and taken off the truck due to the inability to do the job as described. They were sent for a physical that declared them to be physically fit, so we then put them on basically a program of by bi-weekly weigh-ins. When we brought our nutritionist in, we made sure that there was a one-on-one meeting with those individuals to get some guidance into their diet, as well as when the social worker came, getting some one-on-one time with them with healthy coping mechanisms and things like that, to try to make a true lifestyle change. As anything, if they're not willing to make the change, or they don't know how to make the change, then it's not going to stick, or they're doing it for the wrong reason. So we tried to make sure that those questions were answered, and we were able to kind of head things off at the pass, to allow that to happen, and that has, so far, has stuck with the results of losing 90 pounds, which is quite exhaustive for
Which
that
allows
individual.
us to have a very healthy department.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you for the breakdown sheet. I think this was very helpful.
Right, it's somewhat kind of hard to understand, but once you kind of get following it, it is a little bit easier. And that was actually picked by our Health and Safety Committee, which is made up of an officer and a member from each of one of our shifts of our department. So I provided them with a couple different ideas of how we can do it, and then they were the ones that were actually selected that as to be fit, because they're the ones that have to sell it. I can just say this is the policy, but then nobody liked it to begin with. But if it's coming from those guys, they can help better defend it back at the kitchen table than I can when I'm up in my office. So that is, those levels were accepted. Initially there was grunting and groaning, but then we have seen again, 2 other individuals have stepped up and have increased their capacities. And again, it does based upon age and things like that. So it does take in effect modifications of just your body growing and changing, that you can't do the things you did when you were younger. So we feel that it's fair across the board.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Chief Stoermer? If not, we take a motion to accept as presented.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Jamie,
Second.
second by Rodney. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Congratulations, Chief. Also, congratulations on your publication.
Thank you.
In Firehouse Magazine for a
Yeah.
national basis. And on behalf of everyone, happy birthday.
Thank you.
He gets to spend his birthday with us, so why don't you just go ahead and take tomorrow off?
Yes, we'll do.
Okay.
I have a copy of the article he wrote, if somebody wants to read it. I thought that would be.
It's very good. Up next, we have Washington Township Christian Rust, trustee for them. And we have a fire contract that has been gone through again since the last time we met. You met with your board, I think reached a very fair conclusion, which we appreciate.
Yes.
$120,000 for 2020 and 2021.
Yes.
We also have an understanding that we'll work on a formula to sustain funding, hopefully going forward over the next 6 months. Good evening. Anything else?
It will take this opportunity to congratulate Mr. Russ and Mrs. Russ on the birth of their daughter.
Yes.
Congratulations.
You miss sleep, don't you?
Yeah, I did. I'm happy to be here.
Take as long as we need, right? Any questions on the township fire service agreement? I think we've done due diligence on this, and I think we've got a good game plan going forward that will allow us to make this a smoother process. If not, we take a motion to approve the fire contract as presented.
Christian, are you satisfied with the way things are written currently?
Yes.
Okay. So moved.
Motion's been made by Glenn. Is there a second? Second by Jamie. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, here we go. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Have a good evening. Okay, up next, I assume Tanya is here for the holiday parade, because I don't see Kathy Verseman. You're here, Kathy?
That's what I was told. I don't know
Yeah,
what
I'm
I'm
just
talking
here to
about.
Bridges, WTRE parade route for the holiday walk and parade.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just asked, since we're gonna have to coordinate and do some road blocks and all that good old stuff, to come up here and speak on behalf of this. The way I understand it, they'll be starting at Porter Alger Pearson Funeral Home and going up around the Decatur County Courthouse, back down Broadway to First, and it will end at the Decatur County Memorial Hospital.
Okay. We will need a approval to do the street closures and things like that. Tanya Downing, Director of Main Street Greensburg, is also here as part of a larger holiday walk that is currently planned for December 5th. That will run from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. The parade is part of that.
December 5th? So, this is longer than it's been before.
No, much longer.
But yeah, we're going all the way up,
Yeah.
crossing and Lincoln and everything, so.
Tanya, you want to come on up and sort of share how we've gotten here? I think it'd be good to sort of fill everybody in a little bit about what's happening as well.
Hi, we are partnering with the Decatur County Memorial Hospital this year for the holiday walk, and we are taking the parade a little longer route to end at the hospital for their tree lighting ceremony in the front of their property. So
What time is the parade?
the parade will start at 5 o'clock.
I guess my only question I had after talking to WTRE and all that, my whole hopes of this, and like Mr. Tubby explained, of going a longer route. I just told WTRE my recommendation of I would like more communication hopefully done in the future to where we kind of keep this a downtown area. That way we are able to continue to have the downtown spirit and include the downtown. But like I said, as long as we're doing that, I'm good with that. Like I said, I just hope the focus is still downtown and holiday shops downtown, get to the schools. So.
Any questions for Tanya or Chief Prudence? If not, we take a motion to approve the parade route as presented,
Which includes closing of streets in order for that to happen.
or sort of a rolling closure, is my understanding. We'll keep as many of them open for as long as we can. Goodness.
Okay, that's a good thing. Well, let's give it a try.
So,
I'll make the motion. I mean, it sounds like the chief's, gonna manage it, so I'll say I'll move, that we approve the holiday route. Rolling roadblocks for streets.
Motion's been made by Glenn, second by Rodney. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay, Josh Tressler, we're having a discussion about our phone system updates and decisions related to that. This is something Josh and I have been working on since, February, and is one of those things that seems like it's out of the blue, but it's really not. We've been having this, so good evening, Josh. If you'd like to give us a little update on where we are, where we've been, and where we're going.
Sure. Thanks, Mayor. Good evening. Did you all get a copy of it?
There's one sheet here, right?
Yes. Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, first I've seen it. Maybe it was in the packet, but it was later I will.
What we've done, I guess let me kind of step back and just give you a quick update. Currently, we have 5 phone systems in play for the various city buildings. A couple of years ago, just various city upgrade projects, police department, we did put in a handful of phone systems. They were purchased through Enhanced Telecommunications here in Greensburg, and they provided the maintenance and support on those systems. Just here in the last, I believe, 2 years, ETC stopped servicing those kinds of phone systems, and we were kind of forced to look at another vendor to do that. The issue that we kind of run into in taking a look at it is we weren't actually paying for license upgrades or support to ETC. It was just kind of a call as needed hourly rate. So we're pretty far behind on all of the software, and that requires to be upgraded before any new contract for support can be made. Probably the one thing that I'm a little frustrated with the vendor that we currently have. There's a lot of these systems around town because that was just kind of the popular one. They don't allow any kind of third-party support buying of hardware. You have to buy things from them. You have to keep the systems under contract and continually up to date to be able to even have support on them. So it's quite a bit of money, ongoing. One of the things we did a few years ago, we upgraded the system at the Greensburg Police Department and put in remote phones at the fire department and the Greensburg Street Department just to help save on cost and consolidation. There's not really a reason to have a physical phone system in every one of our buildings because of the way we are all interconnected. So what I did is the bottom half of the page shows you kind of the existing systems we have, and then the kind of rough quotations, and speaking with one of the vendors that it would cost to get those, number one, upgraded and current, as well as a labor charge to do that, as well as annual support and licensing moving forward. So I kind of put those numbers together, and like I said, those are kind of rough. There's some variation in there because the systems are all on different releases, but they're all, I believe, at least 2 brand new purchase that would basically consolidate all of the city and county buildings into a single system, with dialing between all of them. And I know there's a lot of numbers and a lot of words on there that you probably don't know what they are, but it's basically a new phone system, 66 phones, as well as some additional, we call them sidecars or expansion units, for certain positions that may need more buttons and things like that. With base licensing, 2 cordless phones, and then some upgraded infrastructure that's needed in the buildings just to power the phones. The technology's changed here in the last couple of years. And then the very bottom line in that first box just shows you what the annual cost is moving forward. You basically pay an additional fee per phone user that you have. So continuous support, software upgrades and things like that. One thing I will point out, we do have some tie-betweens. I have a system built between the police department system today and the system we use in the county for basically police and dispatch communications back and forth. This system that we have proposed on the top of the page is basically the paid support version of what we use at the county. So it also helps us with interoperability. I mean, theoretically, I actually tested it the other day. I don't know if Mayor, if you caught it, but I direct dialed the mayor's extension from my desk and dispatch, and we're able to call between city and county buildings to a point. But that would actually increase this as well. So anybody could talk to anybody without tying up phone lines and things of that nature.
So, I think I'm following you, but I apologize for my, well, at least probably stupidity to ask the question. Just last month, we talked about a system that would be signed by, that's a duplicate system, right? Between the city and the county. We needed duplication, right?
Yes.
And that was for internet only.
Correct. Yeah, that was just for internet access. We currently have both the city and county, all of the individual offices also pay to a fee to ETC to put direct fiber between the buildings that connects the buildings, but that's just to get them connected. So the phone system rides on top of that, the internet, monitoring of security cameras from remote locations. It's different.
So that's only for our IT area. This is really just oral communication.
Correct.
And this is just the city's phone system.
Correct.
The county has the same phone system we have right now and are looking at moving off of this as well, hopefully onto the same provider, but there is no scale benefit to commingle our phone systems.
Yeah, the only scale benefit is at an upfront purchase cost, but even adding the two together, we would hit that tier.
Right.
And as you can tell, the first line item, $90 to purchase the licenses, and then they renew for $25 a year. So it's a loaded upfront cost for the licensing, and then the annual renewal is relatively low in the grand scheme of things.
So if we were to upgrade to what we have, we're looking at 21 plus then an ongoing cost of 9.
Correct.
To improve our system, we're looking at a cost of roughly almost 29, but ongoing cost of like 1,700.
Correct. One other thing I will point out, the bottom number, the 21,000, upgrades us to the software, but that doesn't actually, not that the goal of this was to do this, but that doesn't really gain us any feature benefits, any, upgrades as far as enhancements. It's literally just under the covers maintenance. The new system has a lot of other features, I think things that will, definitely make all of the different offices ability to make changes to the phones and their phone tree, or certain days they need to be closed that maybe not be a normal holiday. Right now, it takes a special software application that either the Avaya engineers have to have, or someone that knows how to use that software. It's very cumbersome to do.
Which we don't pay support to the Avaya people, so they won't do it for us.
Yeah, I
We
can't,
struggle through that.
I still have the software that came with the system, so I can make changes to what we have today, but it's very limited.
Okay, Is this are we looking at this for this year, next year's budget? Jamie, what do we got in city council, or Mr. Mayor, you would know?
The intention is to plug this into, we have this fund that was set aside to do City Hall remodel for 2020, this year. This is part of our upgrade, it would be part of our upgrade. What we would like to do is go ahead and get it ordered on the 2021 money in that fund. There's plenty of money in that fund for this. And then go ahead and install it when we move. So it would go, we would not actually install it in this building. The day we move to our temporary space would be the first day on the phone system. The benefit to this is it does allow us a lot of flexibility in how we structure it. So we can record a different message at the beginning and change it to say, hey, we've moved here. So we think it will be very helpful when we're
And you can move
disclosing.
it back?
Yeah, it's literally just a
Yeah,
box.
the nice part of that is, because we're upgrading to IP phones, which is basically a phone that acts like it's seen on the network like a computer. So they can be picked up and plugged in various locations. That's how we're able to put it in one system, but have remote phones. So
Yeah.
that's actually a benefit. The only thing that will be installed is just a computer that's plugged in.
Yeah.
And, it, you know, can really be anywhere on the city county network, so.
I got you, yeah, I know what you're talking about, I know the system, I've used it.
One of the other things, and I don't have a hard and true number for you, because there's so many variables. There will be a cost savings in your monthly telecommunications bills, ETC, because today, just for example, I believe you're paying like $35 per phone line for every office. One of the things we did when we consolidated the police department, fire department, and street department was went to a trunking system. And the best analogy I use is you pay for lanes on the highway, how many people can be on the phone at once, but the actual phone numbers that you could have 1,000 phone numbers that come in and have 10 lanes on the highway, so 10 people can be on the phone at once. That cost savings will spread as we bring all of this offices back to one trunk. That will absolutely help. I apologize, that's me. I needed it, I gotta get going. You think I would not use it?
So, again, I apologize if I'm asking questions you already answered, I just didn't catch it. This cost is gonna be rolled into the overall upgrade of the building, is that what you're saying?
It is not. So there was a line item for City Hall renovations set aside in the budget
For
for
2020.
2020.
So you want to encumber the cost,
Yes.
it's been
And when we get down to the end of this, when we talk about temporary contractors, moving costs, storage costs, that's the fund that we would like to use to put this stuff in, because it does fit. When we remodeled City Hall, the phone system was going to be part of that anyway.
Right.
We're just a year ahead in getting the phone system with us. We can bring it in. Ron and I have made it very clear to the architecture firm, we want the jacks where we can plug the phone system in, and that's our direction. So yes, we're gonna encumber the money already set aside for City Hall renovations that we're not really using for City Hall renovations because we're getting the bond, if all of this goes through, to do that. So the cash is already appropriated for improvements to the building or its systems.
Of course, we may need to do this anyway, whether or not this whole thing goes, right?
Right.
So, all right, I take back my question. That comes later when the next pieces are discussed.
We've spent a decent amount of time, Josh has really done all the legwork to find us a company that he thinks will fit. It seems like it will work well for us. The annual cost alone make up for the difference, I think, in the first year. Just updating, plus we get all new hardware. Any other questions for Josh? If not, we would appreciate a motion to approve the phone system update and purchase yet this year to be installed in 2021. Part of it too is the wastewater or the new water treatment plant needs a phone system, so we're gonna have to buy one for them anyway. So this way it's already ready to go when they come online first of next year.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion's been made by Rodney. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Glenn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
If not, or all those opposed, Josh, appreciate it.
Thank you, Josh.
Chief Stoermer's back, retirement payout.
According to the handbook, a retiree must give 3 months' notice prior to retirement to achieve his sick pay after 20 years of service. Employee 528, who I had asked for a leave of absence for previously, has since retired without that, and I am asking that his sick time be paid out to him because he does have 20+ years of service for our department, totaling $5,100. So because there is no 3-month time span, I have to ask for approval to pay that out.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made, approved by, motion's been made by Jamie, seconded by Glenn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Street Commissioner Mark Klosterkemper, purchase of a new trash truck. Good evening.
Good evening. Last year ago, I guess in July, it was recognized the need that we have to have a backup truck, a truck for yard waste collection, and also for every holiday, and anytime we have a truck repair, we fall short, make sure that we get our work accomplished. So at that time, they budgeted us sufficient funds to purchase a used truck, not a new truck. I've been looking most of the year, and I finally found one. It's 3 years old, excellent condition. I've been on site and inspected completely. You just find garbage trucks that are new and in good condition, very, very difficult to find. They're just like us. We run until the wheels fall off of them, everything's hanging on baling wire and duct tape. I was fortunate enough to find this one. It is a little bit of a distance to Nashville, Tennessee. It's a privately held corporation that had it. John had a large route over in the resort area. Unfortunately, he's a contractor trying to illness, and therefore was liquidating his fleet, and that's how it came to stop going on this. I've done some checking. I've talked to other vendors. I've actually requested proposals. Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, I have to have 3 quotes because of what purchasing. I've contacted 4 other vendors. I did not hold them to a specific year. I gave them a chance to bid for 2016, for 2018, and also a 3-yard variance on bodies. All 3 of them said they failed to find anything that would meet the demand, and therefore they chose not to submit a quote. So I think I'm compliant with any purchasing law. So
We have documentation for that?
I can get that.
Might be helpful to have documentation.
I've emailed them.
Somebody.
I guess the emails would be sufficient.
The emails would be
Yeah,
sufficient.
that's all we need.
Yeah.
It actually says you have to request them, they don't even have to respond to you.
Yeah.
Because I think they were phone call responses, but I sent emails to the various people that I contacted.
I would say your emails would be sufficient documentation.
So-
The members have used
The money was set aside in this year's budget. Which budget? City budget or water
No, in
budget?
the trash bin.
In the trash budget.
Yes, sir.
The trash budget that we put dollars in to pay the tipping fee?
Yes. If you remember, that ordinance was amended a few years ago to allow for capital purchases.
Yeah.
And there was sufficient funds there
Yeah.
in July so that they could appropriate, they actually appropriated $105,000. The price on this vehicle was down to 88.
Okay. What's the price on the new one?
About 160. Anywhere from 155 to 175. Similar size.
Okay, any further questions for Mark?
Is it planned to drive it back or have it hauled?
I looked at having it transported back. It's about $2,200, and it's a 10-hour round trip. So I will send a non-CDL driver to pick up and CDL driver and we'll drive it back the same day to hand that again.
Any other questions? If not, we'll take a motion to approve the truck as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second? Motion's been made by Jamie, seconded by Rodney. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, thank you much, sir. Brenda, good evening.
Good evening. Can I just stand here? You can hear me from here, can you not? Is that all right, gentlemen? Do I stand here? Okay. It's time to, sign for our software, our annual software contract. And, and I just got it in the mail today, and last year it was signed on November the 4th, so I quickly added it to the packet. You have copies of it? Okay. So it's $8,020 for Keystone, and that covers the key asset program, the key fund, the key payroll, and then additional for the key payroll with direct deposit and email direct deposit advices. We are entertaining companies right now. Donna and Betsy Wiley, my deputy, and Julie Nobby, the payroll administrator, are meeting. We have met with one company that we don't feel will fit our needs. We have an appointment on November the 9th for another very, what do I want to say, recommended company to come. And then we have one other company we need to schedule. There is not a system that will come in and try to switch everything over at the end of the year. We don't want them here at the end of the year. We don't want them in January, and we would like to get all of our reports done in February before we start the process. So I think that it's adequate to continue with this so that we can do side-by-sides. We don't have to worry about a accounting system, and you know, if we don't find what we're looking for, and it gives us the time to search, because we have it budgeted for a new accounting system for the year 2021.
Budget for this year, with this, to pay this year's?
This was budgeted already.
Yeah, for this, in this year.
For,
2020.
yes, from November to November. For
Okay.
November of 20 to November
But
of
there's money in
21.
this year's budget to pay this year?
Yes, there's money in the budget this year to pay this.
Not a long explanation, but why are you looking at changing?
Because the system we have is not adequate. It is, we're all in agreement that work with it. It just doesn't serve our needs. I don't know how else to state that.
All right, that's fine. That's enough.
Okay.
I just heard.
What investigations are you doing to determine what might be a better system?
We have talked with our financial group. Betsy and I both had come from the county to begin this year's administration, and we had worked with a company there that is moving into cities, but they couldn't connect us with the water. And what we need is a flow where the water information can flow into our accounting system without Donna having to print it, Betsy has to input it. That only leaves room for human error, and we don't want any errors in our accounting system. Okay? Yeah. And like I said, our financial advisors, Reedy, knows both of the companies that we've talked to, and so.
Have you seen other programs out there that other cities that are using that will make us better?
Yes. We believed that we had found it in Civic, but then we got a very negative report on one portion of their software. So that's the reason we want the presentation on the 10th. We want to ask specific questions about, will your software system do this, this, and this?
I like the thinking.
if we can't improve it, there's no reason to change it.
Exactly.
That we're not going to change just because the money's there. If we can't improve what's happening now, we're not going to.
This was already budgeted as part of your annual cost, it's just re-entering into the contract.
Yes, and with the amount of money that it was, I knew I needed your approval to spend that $8,000.
Any other questions for Brenda? If not, we'll take a motion to enter into the contract with Keystone.
So moved.
Voice, second.
Okay, yeah. Motion's been made by Rodney, second by Glenn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Donna, you're up. From asset disposal.
Nice fun topic here. Asset disposal should have had in your packet. I'm not sure if you have detail or not, or just the cover page. It's basically doing a little fall cleaning, getting rid of old computers, software on the computers, printers, monitors. We're gonna take advantage of the shredding this weekend. I think it's at the fairgrounds from 9 to 11. And get ready for a move. The amount of the asset disposal, which will affect the general ledger as well as the asset ledger, is $17,718.73. Request approval to destroy and remove.
So that was my question. You had referenced these different items within your bookkeeping, but I had no idea what it was. So
Okay.
it's computers, old computers,
One of them's
monitors.
an old desk jet printer, Palm tungsten,
Yeah.
whatever. It's a lot of miscellaneous old things that we have on our, we call it a third one. So it's a lot of things I keep missing shredding day for, so I've been going through the ledger, asset ledger, and
Shredded separate issue. This is just these pieces of
old
equipment.
pieces of equipment that are no longer functional that we're gonna get rid of.
Okay.
If, any questions for Donna? If not, we take a motion to dispose of those items.
I move to agree to dispose items enumerated here, whatever they
All
are.
right, motion's been made by Glenn. Is there a second? Second by Rodney. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
Superintendent Jeff Smith. Up first, we have the final payout for Gas Creek. We always like to see a final payout. That's good.
I got 4 different items I'll be bringing for you. The first one is the final payout for Gas Creek of $17,676.17. They have completed all their work, got the grass sowed. It's coming up pretty good. Get a little more warm weather to help out a bit there. So everything's been completed. They've done all their testing, the lines, everything's passed. So I would like to recommend that we go ahead and give them payout number 3, which is their final payout, for $17,676.17.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Smith? If not, take a motion to do the final payout for Gas Creek. Motion been made by Glenn, seconded by Dr. King. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
And I'll bring these after the meeting for you to sign, if that's okay, Mayor. The second thing for Gabriel Miller Contracting for Gas Creek Sewer, Sanitary Sewer Replacement is the release of retainage. We retained $7,269.25. I would recommend we go ahead and release that retainage of $7,269.25 to the contractor. They can get the job completed.
Any questions? If not, take a motion to approve that payout.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Rodney, seconded by Glenn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Third item.
Third item is the pay application for C&H/M excavating for the Greensburg wastewater treatment improvements. The pay app on this time is $125,036.72. You should receive the line items of what they've completed. They've completed a few things to remove the sludge from the digester, dispose of that. That was the biggest cost so far. And there's mobilization. They are down there now working on the digester. They're doing some welding. So it's my recommendation we go ahead and approve the payout. C&H/MSD.
All those in, or is there a motion to approve that? Motion's been made by Rodney, second. Second made by Glenn. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Those opposed? What's it?
Fourth thing was change order number 2 for the wastewater treatment plant. You should see copies of that. We had more rust, corrosion on the inside of the digester lid, and we thought there's no way to actually get inside the digester, anaerobic digester, until it's completely emptied and vented, and then you can get in to inspect it. So when we got in to inspect it, some of the main steel was pretty well corroded and needed to be replaced. So instead of replacing the steel structure underneath, they're going to add partial steel structure on top with support, and it comes to the lump sum for doing it was $244,871. As you can see, we did get some deducts for that. We had less sludge to dispose of than we thought, which knocked it down $11,382.40. We had 2 allowances on the anaerobic digester. We thought we allowed $50,000 for repairs, $25,000 for pipe support if needed, and that was just kind of a rough guess of what it could be when you get in. As you can see, we was a little short. And the other deduct is on replacing the lights, first we were going to replace the back brackets. And the electrician come in and said, no, we don't need to. We can just hook the new black heads onto the old brackets and save us, what, $2,300. So this change order is for $156,188.60.
Is this a temporary fix?
It should last approximately 20 years.
What kind of warranty do they give? Or is there any such thing in business?
Usually 1 year after completion is the warranty date, so much different. So they'll come back and look at it. Before we did the repair, or started all this, we did have the engineer from the lid manufacturer come in after we got it emptied, cleaned out, and invented to go in and look at everything and give us a complete assessment of it. And he gave us one option, which would let you about 3 years more life out of it. And then you had to replace the lid, which would be about $650,000 to replace. Doing this, we can probably get another 20 years life out of it. He said it's a little more expensive repair, but it'll give you a lot more life. So I'd actually recommend you go ahead and do the change order of $156,188.60. All the steel that they are using is going to be getting purchased through A&A here in town. Painting, all the paint's getting purchased locally from them. So we do keep a little bit back in town.
Okay.
So the total project's increased by $150,000.
Yeah, $156,188.60.
We've got sufficient.
Yes.
Unless Jamie's got some questions, but I'm going to be on my mechanical.
The only bad thing is you don't repair the digester.
Yeah, well, we got to have it, yeah, I mean, I agree, there's kind of like cost of doing business, I guess, right now, it could cost us more in the long run. You got anything?
Any other questions? If not, we'll take a motion to approve change order number 2 for the wastewater treatment plant improvements.
Glenn, so moved.
Glenn is moved. Is there a second? Second made by Robin. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Okay, thank you much. Building Commissioner Sarah Heber's not available to be with us this evening due to unforeseen circumstances. Just a quick update, we are moving forward with finding a comprehensive plan vendor. She has sent out some different things to them to ask them to express interest in doing so, so she'll have an update on that probably in December, the money's not set aside until January, but it takes us a little bit to get through that. Anything else on that, Ron, at the moment?
Only that she is also looking into a possible grant source to help fund the cost.
That is true. We are working with ARA Administrative Resources, who've done a lot of grants with us, to try to get Oprah's grant money, which could be up to $60,000. We have to do the income survey first, so we will see that if anybody receives the income survey, it's not a scam. We would appreciate you completing that, because it will help us with this. Any other questions on the comp plan at the moment? If not, I will move on down to Veterans Day Parade. Actually, Thackeray with Gillen Howe has asked that we assist her with a short parade on Veterans Day. That information has been provided to Chief Bridges as well. This is pretty standard. She's directly coordinating with the health department and finding a safe and alternative solution to that should something change. But again, it's one of those parade components. I recommended that she not attend if she didn't feel the need to, so don't feel like